And we are live. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Prop Stars. Got my boy TJ. It's your boy Buff. We appreciate your time being here. Blast us out, like, subscribe. Of course, today we got a lot to go over. We just wanted to start off with just a couple of kind words to the Kirk family. It was a tragic week when it comes to that, and we wish nothing but the best to the Kirk family. Prayers up. He was a patriot. He was a leader of faith and a leader of men. TJ, did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, it was crazy. I knew how big he was, but I didn't know truly how big he was. I mean, there's vigils in so many different countries. The Israel prime minister came out and was broken
You saw the hockey champ by New Zealand too. I mean, the guy's literally impacting the world.
He made a big impact, and the good thing about social media is the impact to keep on going on. But it's a horrible thing. I feel so bad for his kids. I know his kids maybe still don't even know, waiting for Daddy to come home from a work trip. Barbie and I were really broken up about that when we heard that, but it's just a horrible thing. But let's get to most.
Nothing but love and respect from the Prop Stars.
Also, we never want to lose somebody, but we'll be gaining somebody in this world too. Ian and Andrea, they're in the delivery room right now listening to our podcast while they're delivering the baby.
Congratulations to the Z's family.
He's got one hand on the football, one hand on the baby, and the podcast is blasting in the background, right? But good luck, guys.
He's over here like waiting to catch a snap. He's come on, let's go, push.
Yeah. Unlike Jaden Daniels last week when Mika was all over him, he should have no pressure like that.
Oh my God, we'll definitely talk about that. Well, let's get right into it as we always do here at the Prop Stars. We had an incredible week of football. We had some lead pipe locks that went through that we're going to talk about. Survivor was a really crazy week. Some people got knocked out, some really close games. We're going to definitely talk about the Survivor picks going forward as well. And then, of course, we had your and I's game to kind of highlight the week. I thought it was definitely the game of the week. The Giants and Cowboys got relegated to a 1:00 game. Normally, this is our time to shine. They put us on at night. It's a historical rivalry. It's always good. And this year, they decided to put us at 1:00. I felt that Russell and Dak had a conversation and said, we're going to light it up. Let's go out there and put a show on. And that's exactly what we got was fireworks. Please, I'll let you take it off the top. Obviously, the Giants played incredibly good, and the Cowboys played what we thought the Cowboys were going to play like. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've been hearing about the Giants front seven for all training camp.
Elite, right? Elite front seven.
Yeah, Abdul Carter has been invincible, very embarrassing so far as our early first round pick in the draft. I'm hoping that changes around because I've been hearing the Micah Parsons comparisons. I'm not seeing that at all yet. But the one thing that, I mean, of course, as a Giant fan, you want to win the game. Me and you were shit talking the whole time, and it was fun. But Russell Wilson, as a starting, this could have been the last game he ever starts in the NFL this is the last game he could start as a quarterback, and he comes out and throws 450 yards and 3 touchdowns, right?
He was cooking, bro. This is the Russell Wilson I know exists that I've believed in the past.
I know you've been a fan and you've overdrafted him over the last 10 years. I remember 3 years ago, you said he's the #1 fantasy quarterback, and I almost threw up on salsa patio when you told me.
I thought he was going to be great.
And obviously, he's one of the worst.
I bought into him and Sean Payton. I thought Sean Payton was a cure-all.
Yeah, but yesterday or Sunday, he came out and with his reputation on the line, right? He threw for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I at least gained enough respect for him to say, hey, we'll roll you out at least 1 or 2 more weeks. And, it was a great game. Crazy. There was 24 points scored in the last 2 minutes and 44 seconds.
9 out of the last 10 possessions.
Unbelievable.
Back and forth.
I mean, we've been blessed with the Bills-Ravens game, but this might be right up there with one of the greatest games I've ever seen.
There he is, Ian Z's, yo, baby in one hand. Thanks for watching. He said, ouch. No, I definitely think the Cowboys-Giants game is one of the better games that we've ever played. It came out of nowhere. I think the way it started, I think the way it started, it looked like the Giants just were not scared, right? And Dallas came out a little tight. And it looked like we were trying to impose our will a little bit. We were trying to run the ball against your front seven, trying to show that
Javonte Williams looked good. I mean, why not run the ball? The Commanders, Ian's Commanders ran for 230 yards the game before. I don't
Right.
blame them. Run it down our throats. We look soft.
But
I
you
don't know
guys
what's
kind of
going.
you stopped us early on the
Yeah,
runs, and there was Dak didn't have any turnovers in the first half, but it just looked like we couldn't get comfortable, and you kept getting him off his spot, right?
yeah,
And there wasn't a lot going on with our receivers. Second half comes, and it's like, Dak throws a pick. All of a sudden, the Giants turn it over on downs, and then like the game just opened up. And it was right after that. You had Pickens with a touchdown that was late, showing a little bit of connection there. I thought Ferguson looked great. He was all over the place underneath. Dak was finding him. But let's talk about Russell Wilson. Wan'Dale Robinson is a mention that nobody's talking about right now. And I hope I'm not blowing up anybody's spot who's trying to get him on a waiver wire. Wan'Dale Robinson, how many targets did he have last year, TJ? Do you know this?
no, I don't know.
He had 140 targets.
Yeah, I knew it was over
Malik
100.
Neighbors was like eclipsing no almost 200. So you're talking about one of the most heavily targeted tandems in the league, right? Wan'Dale Robinson through 2 weeks has like 189 yards. The guy is being overperforming wide receiver. He's just flying under the radar.
Yeah,
I think that he definitely has a rapport with Russell. It'll be good with Jackson. It'll be good with Winston. Doesn't matter. He's obviously in the offense. He's available on waiver wires, and I thought he was very imperative for Neighbors to do what he was doing because Wan'Dale was just all over the place, man. He looked
Wan'Dale
incredible.
Robinson's a great slot receiver. He's super shifty, super quick. Some of those targets are a little misleading because a lot of it was like the quick pitch thing and all that kind of crazy stuff. But yeah,
But all you want in fantasy is just targets. And if you have somebody who's getting over 100 targets and the dude's on a waiver wire and he's
yeah.
going undrafted in every league, that's pretty embarrassing, right? Like the
Yeah,
guy is being misdrafted.
Tyson from the uninformed fan. I don't know if he drafted him, but I remember he said, he goes, "Oh, Wan'Dale Robinson will have a big year because all Russell Wilson does is check down, right?" And Wan'Dale Robinson's kind of that check down guy. But also, Wan'Dale Robinson also showed he could beat you deep. Russell Wilson, he's always been known for that moon ball, which I hated that term, but he threw some really great deep balls. And he still showed that he still has that arm strength too, because some of them he couldn't step into fully, and he still got the ball, 50 plus yards in the air, which is not easy to do when you're under pressure like that. It was a great game. It was a tough loss for the Giants. One of those teams, I'm stating the obvious here, we're going to go 0-2, right? But the one thing I was thinking about was the segue to the next point was how much the Cowboys miss Micah Parsons. That second half of the Green Bay Packer Commanders game, that might have been the most dominant second half I've ever seen by a single defensive lineman.
All right, we're going to pause there. I just had one question for you before we move on from the Giants into this segue. What was the whole deal with the Giants putting in two quarterbacks on like the last drive, like between Dart and Wilson? Like, what was the, because all game it's just Wilson, and all of a sudden in these imperative moments, you see like Jackson Dart coming in. Was that like something that was spoken about? Did we miss that? Did you know anything about him coming in?
I have some sources on the ground there, and this is the thing. There are some things that Dayball sees that people don't see, right? So from what I understand is that he wanted Russell Wilson to the sideline for something, right? So everyone thinks it's because he wants Jackson Dart in the game. That wasn't the case. He wanted Russell Wilson to the sideline so he could tell him something that he saw. So it spells your quarterback a little bit, and then Russell Wilson comes out, and I don't know if it was that drive, but they marched down for a touchdown, right? So
no, yeah, that was like right after that. He uncorked one to Neighbors over the top.
Yeah. So it's more of like an okey doke where people think it's because of Jackson Dart. It's just because Dayball sees something that's so obvious. Jackson Dart slips. Jackson Dart was really bummed out that he slipped. No big deal, right? But
I was saying the Giants are a lot better than what people are giving credit for. You could have easily beat us. Cowboys could be 0-2, not the Giants. And obviously, we know we got a preview that's going to come up on Thursday, but the Giants and the Chiefs next week, that's going to be one hell of a game too, with a lot of implications. Somebody's going 0-3, you know what I mean? And it might not be the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants, we haven't had a lot of hope as a Giant fan, but hey, at least we battled. And I think the Cowboys are a really good football team, and we'll see how that goes.
All right, so let's go right into it. Like you said, Micah Parsons was ruining the Commanders. He was in the backfield every play in the second half. They did not have a lot of juice on the ground. Krasky Merritt got hemmed up. Austin Eckler, that's a real tough loss for him to blow his Achilles, non-contact injury. Comes out of the backfield on a little wheel route, and whenever he cut in field, you saw him go down right away. I was on the group chat and watching it. Everybody who has been watching injuries of recent for whatever reason, man, just you saw him go down. You knew it was Achilles right away.
Yeah, I mean,
And you
Eckler's
never
been
want
trending.
Krosky Merritt to get his burn like that, but he's clearly going to vault into a lead position. And that's a really tough injury for a very cool football guy who's very fantasy relevant, does podcasts. He's very self-aware of himself when it comes to statistical analysis and whatnot. And you just hate to see, a gamer like Austin Eckler go down.
Yeah, for sure. Sean, congrats on the new house. Yeah, Eckler's been trending down. He rushed for 350 yards last year. I mean,
Congrats,
not a big
Sean.
injury. Debo Samuel and Merritt Crosby will take over that backfield. But Micah Parsons, the way he dominated that second half, he only had 1.5 sacks and like a few quarterback hurries. But literally, Jaden Daniels had to watch him every snap. I have never, in watching all my years of football, seen a defensive lineman take over a game like Micah took over in that second half. He also looks a little bigger, like he packed on some weight. But all I was thinking about when I'm watching the Giants-Cowboys game is how much they're going to miss Micah Parsons and how much they're going to not go super far in the playoffs just because they don't have a guy like that. He is dominant. He looks bigger. He looks stronger. And honestly, he might be the closest thing I've seen to Lawrence Taylor since the Lawrence Taylor days when it comes to that straight edge, speed, power rusher. He has it all. And now that he's bulked up, I think they said he gained like 12 or 15 pounds or whatever, but he looks bigger. He looks stronger. And man, did you guys fuck that up. Wow.
Yeah, no, we look like we got a lot of egg on our face. Jerry shit the bed and trying to be all old school and cool and do a private deal and you go around his agent. Just a absolutely idiotic move. Micah looks not only incredible, but like he looks like he hit that next level because he's priming, right? You always see the dudes when they hit their prime and they just like elevate.
Yep.
It's Micah in the top 3 conversation. Obviously, Myles Garrett just looks unbelievable right now too.
I mean, I can see it right now, right? I mean, with the Bengals, with Joe Burrow being out, Chiefs struggling, you could almost see it kind of starting to build right now. And if this is the case, it'll be such a great Sunday in January. It's going to be Packers, Eagles, and Bills, Ravens going at it for the Final Four, right? Obviously, we know a lot of things can change, but I am on that Packers bandwagon if Jaden Reed can come back healthy, because that guy is a big player for the Packers. Not always amazing stats-wise, but Jordan Love looks.
He just seems uncoverable. He's all over the field. And I think that without Reed, you're not going to really unlock Golden. And like, I don't know if you saw the last game, like Love had Golden on like a 95-yard route and he just overthrew him.
He overthrew him.
And he was like laid out for it. He was mad because he knew he just missed it, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, like
Golden
those targets are coming. Matthew Golden, the breakout's coming.
Yeah, he's been disappointing so far, but yeah, he's fast. He gets behind secondary.
What do you think about the Packers at the Browns next week?
Say it again.
Not scared, right? I mean, out of the Browns, I thought Judkins looked good. He had like 60 yards, 10 carries. I think it's definitely going to be a Judkins, Jerome Ford backfield. There's going to be some Dylan Sampson in there, but like their defense looks pretty good. I know the Ravens just mollywopped them.
Yeah, but Sean, yeah, you're right. Of course, if you lose one receiver, you lose the next one, you're bad. But they have Josh Jacobs, good quarterback, good coach, great offensive line.
They still got Romeo Dubes. They still got Tucker Kraft, who's in the midst of a breakout season. I have Tucker all over in fantasy.
Yeah, I think that, of course, when you lose one receiver, you lose the next one, you're in trouble. But I think Green Bay, they might struggle a little bit throughout the year if they come and they get into a shootout or something. But I don't know how you get in a shootout with that defense. Micah just changes everything. Parsons looks amazing. But yeah, that's that. Let's go on to the next subject, Buff. What you got?
All right, man. If we're going to jump from, these next games, let's talk about the next big story. You had the Bengals and Jags. It was a hell of a game. But Joe Burrow, I was watching it. He's like kind of scrambles, dodges a lineman, and he lays down. And whenever he goes down forward, you see him just he's like laid out flat. And you can't really tell what the injury is, and nothing looked bad. And then he's on the sideline, and Browning's in. And then the report comes out. He's got turf toe. They send the imaging to a specialist. It's such a bad case of turf toe. They immediately decide for surgery, and he's out for the next 12 weeks. So
yeah, they got to change the turf toe term too, because turf toe is so serious.
Nobody really knows. They're like, turf toe, it can't be a big deal. It's like a ligament injury in your foot. Turf toe has taken out the likes of Deion Sanders for a year, right? It's taken out Tom Brady for a year.
His foot's been amputated, and people say it has something to do with that too. Which part of his foot's been amputated because
I mean, right, and it can sit there and you can play through pain, but it's definitely an injury it's different for everybody. This is such a bad case for Joe Burrow because he was just looking good for the first time. No injuries in preseason. They come out. The Bengals are like 2-0 for the first time in forever, right? And this is just so tragic. Now, Jake Browning looks like a quarterback that is serviceable enough that can get his ball to Jamar Chase. It was kind of weird, right? We saw Burrow go out and Higgins and Chase still ended up eating. Like he still
Browning
had
has had multiple big games in his career. I think a lot of people are saying that anybody could quarterback this team and be good. I don't think there's a big drop off. If I'm a Jamar Chase owner or T. Higgins or Chase Brown, I don't think there's going to be a big drop off. Let's be real. For one game, he outplayed Joe Burrow, right?
sure.
So I don't think it's that crazy to think. Also, watching the Joe Burrow documentary on Netflix, he's kind of like a chill dude, but doesn't give me those workhorse vibes, right? Just kind of like laid back and, he's a good looking guy. I think things have come pretty easy for him in his life.
You
And
don't think
he's
he's
an
out there
amazing
grinding, huh?
talent. He's an amazing talent. He's an amazing quarterback. He's set SEC records. He's the golden boy. I get this vibe sometimes, though,
The
that
Dragon Slayer. The
he's
no
not
name
a
cooler than that.
He's not a workhorse. And, I don't know if that's where the injuries come from, but I get that vibe that he's not a workhorse. I could be wrong. But I love Joe Burrow, but I just think that there's not a big drop-off. I think when it comes to the playoffs, is it going to hurt the Bengals winning? Yes. But do I think it's going to hurt the Bengals' overall fantasy value with how bad that defense is? No.
Heard. It's going to be interesting because you get Joe Burrow back like right in the fantasy playoffs. So if you have him, like you don't really drop him, you just kind of stash him and pray that he comes back a little early. But I mean, it sounds like it's obviously a solid 12-week injury. With that being said, you had on the other side of the Bengals, you had the Jags, and the Jags, Trevor Lawrence just not looking as sharp as he should. Etienne is looking good. You had Bishal Tutton. Brian Thomas Jr. is looking a little disappointing. Travis Hunter was on defense. I don't know. They look all over the place. What's your take on the Jags?
Yeah, I think that that was one of our lead pipe locks, right? We knew that with our sources on the ground that the Jaguars were going to get running backs involved in the passing game, and that's what they did, right? Both running backs had a touchdown. Tutton, Etienne, it was a big win. It was somewhat of a comeback. Brian Thomas Jr. had a lot of big drops, but I'm excited for my fantasy team that he's getting targets at least, so hold on tight. He's about to have a big game, right? And Jags are a team that they're struggling for sure, but they're a team you want to target.
Sean Overman says losing Burrow isn't the same as Dolphins losing to a player still have relevance.
No, 100%.
That's true. I mean, Jake
100%.
Browning, my buddy Larger, huge Bengals fan, shout out. He's definitely is on record saying that Browning could be the best backup in the league, and I think that's an arguable case.
And also, the team falls apart when Tua is out. Tyreek Hill, and also that's the Dolphins, right? The Dolphins have totally fucked themselves building this roster, right? But the Dolphins have never had a backup quarterback for some weird reason. Maybe this year they do, but yeah, the Bengals will be okay. Dolphins lose Tua, they're done. But the Jaguars, I mean, it was one of our lead pipe locks. We nailed it. I'm not going to say easily, but the running backs got targeted. That's what we predicted. Got hit that. Both running backs got touchdowns. I think that the Jaguars offense is going to blow up this year, mainly because that defense looks pretty soft, right?
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to another storyline. How about this dude they're calling Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
So this is a former, I love talking about this because he's obviously a former Giant, right? And you always like the guy. You've always been on record saying, I like Daniel Jones. I remember us being on the softball field during the draft, and the Giants, the word comes out from the other team. You remember we were playing stepdaddies or whatever, and they're like Daniel Jones, and you're like, Daniel Jones? Love the pick. You're immediately
at the time I didn't love it super much, but then you watch him play. He's a pretty good quarterback, man. And I don't know what happened with him and Dayball. Supposedly Daniel Jones was so hurt last year he could barely hold the football. I don't know what's going on with that, but he looks really good. He's tall. He's got a strong arm, and he struggles with the deep ball sometimes, but he knows how to throw those intermediate routes. And he's dicing people up right now, Indiana Jones. But let's talk more about that game because the game was crazy, right? Denver won. It was over. 0 seconds on the clock, and the announcer said, Denver Broncos go to 2-0. Da-da-da. Wait, there's a flag on the play.
There's a flag.
And this is where the special teams coaches make their money. I've always said this as a not as a head coach, but as an assistant coach,
Yeah.
your job is to remind players to not make those big mistakes. And you don't say it like, hey, don't make a big mistake, because what mistake you're going to make. You remind them on what not to do, right? So I know a special teams coach that has coached special teams for 20 years. He said in that situation, you remind your guys of two things. One, don't rough the kicker, right? Do not rough the kicker, because it's a 60-yard field goal. There's a very good chance he's not going to make it anyways. Two, don't commit a stupid penalty like holding a guy and pulling him down where they call defensive holding. Or the rule that they've been calling a lot over the last couple of years is don't help yourself with assistance jump up, because they will
the jumping up to block the kick.
And that's what happened. The guy was 10 yards short, wasn't even close. He mishit it, and game was over. And then flag on the play, and it was the guy got assistance jumping up to try to block it, which is ridiculous on a 60-yard field goal. And you literally gave the game away. And instead of being 2-0, you're 1-1, and now you're in a dogfight in that division. And who knows if that's going to cost you the playoffs or not, because we've seen losses derail teams before. I think the Broncos are good enough with that defense and core.
The Broncos don't get any breaks. They go and play the Chargers, whose defense looks absolutely for real. And we'll talk about that.
Big win. And yeah, the Colts look good, but the Denver, had them beat that whole game, and it was big.
Well, let's talk about a couple of caveats. So you got Daniel Jones, like we were saying. The Colts are the only team in NFL history to not punt in the first 2 games of the season. Isn't that kind of crazy? They haven't punted. Crazy. It's either touchdowns or field goals.
Yeah, the punter hasn't come on the field. It's kind of crazy. Also, breaking news, really sad. Robert Redford just passed away. The Natural, one of my dad's favorite movies. Every time my dad's watching the kids, I come home to say, hey, Dad, I'm home. And The Natural's on in the background, right?
Right.
It's an amazing movie. From what I know, he was an amazing man. Great looking guy, by the way.
89 years old. He was definitely a benchmark of handsomeness for sure.
He had a great run. I liked him in the Avengers too. Butch and Cassidy, we can go on and on. But Robert Redford, you had a great run. And
absolute legend.
I think a lot of us would hope to live to 89 and look as good as you did, buddy. But all right, let's keep going.
All right, man. So I know we teased a little bit about Survivor. We had a couple of games that were real pertinent. I took the Cowboys in Survivor. They sneak by. The other team that was real popular was the Cardinals, right? Yeah. And you had the Panthers at Cardinals. The Cardinals almost gave this game away. Like the Panthers came charging. You had Bryce making moves. Ted McMillan looks like he's the part. Hunter Renfro's sneaky good underneath if you're looking for like short, intermediate PPR guys that you need to fill in on these crazy injuries or bye weeks that are coming up. But yeah, I thought that was a crazy game. Obviously, you can't pick the Cardinals in a lot of good spots. And we found 2 weeks in a row to sneak them into a Survivor pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I picked them and I got 2 picks going, one in each league. I took one in last week, the other league in this week. And I got lucky and made it through. Not something that I want to look at. Kyler Murray still looks super short. The running game, look, Trey Benson looks great. It looks like it's going to be a split kind of thing between him and Connors, right? You have McBride.
Yep. It was a good game. Kyler Murray had an amazing run. Oh, thank you guys. We just hit 700 subscribers on YouTube. I know we're on a bunch of platforms right now, but we appreciate the support, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is like our Survivor pool breakdown, right? We're in this really big Survivor pool, life-changing money, as we call it. And I took a chance. It looks like most people escaped. Luckily with the Cowboys, which was ridiculous. Most people were counting that as a loss, right? Giants had them beat. But I took a chance. I went Steelers and Dolphins. 8 of us, so about 5% total went Steelers and Dolphins with the buyback, right? We had a $50 buyback. We took a chance here. You escaped with going to Arizona on both, which I like to do, and you have both of your buybacks still available. But let's break it down really quick. About 65% of the pool picked Cowboys, Cardinals, or Ravens. They all went through, right?
They all
Rams
went through.
And Lions were the next 2 popular picks. They all went through. Steelers get upset at home, a large part because Caleb Johnson didn't know the rules.
So let's go over this. So Caleb Johnson, they're trying to fit him in, okay? Jalen Warren's the lead back. You got Kenneth Gainwell. obviously
Yeah.
experienced. They're both clearly better pass blockers than what Caleb Johnson's shown. It's the biggest reason why they're in, right? And then you get Caleb Johnson getting some work on special teams. He's short of the end zone. The ball comes in, he touches it, which means nothing at the time,
Yeah.
but I thought it meant something.
He might have
And
touched it,
then
he might
the
have not.
ball goes behind him, sits and rests in the back of the end zone right before the line. And then the Seahawks come running by him, jump on the ball, and it looks so bang bang. The way they jumped on it for the touchdown, and he kind of like rolled out, but they called it a touchdown. And I guess it was like just that moment of like possession, but it's so crazy because I was like, did he even get the touchdown? It looked like he went out, but they gave him the touchdown. It's an absolute imperative mistake. You just
It
can't do
changed
that.
the game.
And then it's
I
a
have
rookie who doesn't know the NFL rules.
Yeah. I have actually a customer of mine works pretty closely with the Steelers and was on the field, and he said it sucked the energy out of the whole stadium. I'm also wondering how you're another thing. If you're a coach, how are you putting a rookie back there and you're not explaining the rules to make sure they know that it's not a punt, it's a kickoff. If it's a kickoff, the ball is always
Is
live.
live.
You have to catch it.
Haven't you done that in Madden before where like, you pull it to the left and you can like kick it and sometimes it'll land right there and you can run your guys down and grab it. You know what I mean? Like
sometimes a bounce back, you could grab it and it's like a deep onside kick, right?
Right. Exactly.
It was a mistake. I'm surprised also they're putting Caleb Johnson back there because he's kind of known as like a big bruiser, a little slower when it comes to. So why?
I was wondering what I'm like. They're just trying to get him work, like get him experience.
I just don't understand. You're making probably $500,000 a year as a special teams coach. You're making over 10 times the average American salary. Why the hell are you not reminding every single player at all times? The ball is live. You got to make sure you catch it, even if it rolls through the back of the.
I mean, not just that, but it's your rookie too. Like you have to like over-explain to rookies, you would think, because they just have so much going through their head in such a pressure-filled moment. No, that was tough, man. I know that cost you in Survivor, and that's like you can't see that. It's unforeseeable.
And then the Dolphins was the next survivor, the next most popular team picked that lost.
Break down the Dolphins game. That game was crazy.
Yep, it was at home. Patriots came out and punched him in the mouth, and people were booing in the stadium. But credit to Tua and Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Coach McDaniels, they bounced back. They all I was saying at the end, right before half, was Caton. They get the ball to start the half. They got to score here. They just get a field goal. They'll be down 14-10. That's what happened. They kicked the field goal. They got the ball to start the second half. They ended up taking the lead. They ended up losing the lead. Then it's back-to-back special teams touchdowns, which you very rarely see in the NFL.
That's unbelievable.
The Dolphins took the punt return for a touchdown and then kick return right back the other way. It was crazy. The Dolphins lose at home to the lowly New England Patriots.
That's Tua's first loss. He was 7-0 against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Against the Patriots. And then Drake May balled out. He was 19-23, 230, had 3 tutties. I mean, he looked great for being on the road in a game. And Ramondre Stevenson was just balling.
Yeah, he's brave.
He had a crazy catch, had 11 carries, 54 yards. He had 5 catches for 88 yards. It looks like it's Ramondre's backfield, and it's going to take Travion Henderson a little more time to really work his way into something valuable.
Yeah, it was crazy. Dolphins had him on the ropes. 2 other people got knocked out. Broncos. One person picked the Broncos. One person picked the Vikings.
The Vikings game was kind of inexplicable. I don't know how you can go and believe in J.J. McCarthy, and then like what happened to him in that game? Like
it's the same thing that happened to him in the Chicago game, right?
Sure.
The Bears had him locked up. He looked horrible. We haven't seen enough of him in college to even know if he was good. I've seen a lot of him not a lot, but some of him in the NFL. He has not looked good so far. He had 1 good quarter against the Bears, and now he's out 2 to 4 weeks. And who's the backup?
2 interceptions. He was 11 for 21, 2 picks. I mean, not great. Justin Jefferson's frustrated. 3 catches, 81 yards.
And that's against the Falcons defense, which is not good. Let me say this. What's up, Eric? Thanks for all the pats, baby. Oh, here we go, right? Straight Boston guy. Oh, geez. All right. Yeah.
Vrabel with a 4.5 40 down the sidelines on
Yeah.
a game-winning tutty.
He almost
That
pulled his
was
hammy
clocked,
on that
right? He
kick return.
clocked that, Eric.
I literally thought they were going to throw a flag on Vrabel because it looked like he was about to throw a block. Right. He was moving.
Can you imagine he cleans somebody out looking like Kelsey taking out Worthy, bro? He would injure and level anybody.
He was about to pull a hammy running down that sideline. But that's super cool, right? Because I love, like, in the moment, right? He's just so amped up. And, you know, you kind of knew that if he kind of knows if he scores that touchdown, when pressure's on Tua, the guy just doesn't always deliver, right?
Folds like a lawn chair, dude. It's unbelievable.
First half quarterback. And when teams make adjustments, Tua just falls apart, man. It's kind of getting old. And, you know, the guy's a decent quarterback. And when he's in a rhythm, there's nobody better. But it has to be warm weather, it has to be good weather, and he can't get hit hard. So it's a real tricky.
These are things that are tough. And speaking of Tua and Survivor, next week the Dolphins on Thursday night, so just a couple days away, they are at the Bills, and that's a great Survivor pick.
It's a great Survivor pick.
This is the game that Tua went out last year.
Yeah,
right. Whenever he was on I don't know. It was like they were in the goal. They were like red zone, and he like went to run it, and he just like ran head first into him. And
yeah, and I'm pretty sure it might have been DeMar Hamlin that was part of that tackle too.
Sure, yeah.
Oh yeah, keep in mind too, we're doing Tuesdays and Thursday shows now, guys. Right?
So this is going to be a
preview. To recap Survivor Pool, Thursdays to kind of talk about it. But yeah, we love the Bills pick. They're the biggest favorite of the season so far, right?
Absolutely. And against the Dolphins, they haven't looked great. Just wanted to throw that out there as a little caveat.
Kind of cool, but yeah, it's I think they're, would you say, Buff, 88% to win that game? That's the highest percentage.
88%, man. And Josh Allen, obviously, I mean, the way Cook looks, they're gonna run the ball. Dolphins can't stop the run. It's gonna take the Dolphins to play a perfect game to beat the Bills. It's gonna take a lot.
So there was 132 people that entered the week. 10 got eliminated. Yeah.
And then we're down to buybacks, obviously, until week 6.
Out of 144 people, out of 132 people, 10 people, 7% of the pool has to use their buybacks, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. All right, what do we got? What else we got going on?
All right, well, that covers Survivor. I know we were talking about lead pipe locks, right? And we had a nice one last night. We had a great call. I'll let you take it from the top. I know you've been using algorithms, cooking it up. We got a nice little faction of people, brain trust coming together, and then it spits out wonderful numbers like this. Take it down.
Yeah, so everyone likes to kind of give out their, I got a lock, I got a lock, I got a lock. I used to love to say it also. It's a little different now. We're just waiting for information, right?
Right.
We got people on the ground in certain places, and sometimes those people are Adam Schefter, right? But who's not a friend of the show yet, but we're working on that. But other times it's just tidbits of information, right? This one last night was the golden ticket. I mean, you could have refinanced your mortgage and put it on this one, right? You were paying a little bit of juice at minus 140.
Yep.
But Sterling Shepard,
I got it at minus 110.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. So
I sent it to you on Hard Rock. I showed you it live.
Yeah. Sterling Shepard was 19 and a half over under yards. This was a dream situation. Why was it a dream? One, you had Stingley on Mike Evans all game, right? Egbuka, still a rookie. Texans defense, real feisty. Texans, amazing pass rush. And lastly, Shepard was part of the game plan all week in practice, and he had 6 targets the week before. I think it was the first drive of the game. He gets a 15-yard catch, and early in the second half, we easily eclipsed that total. I think he almost doubled the 19 and a half by the end of the game, but he looked great. He is I know as a Giant fan, he is a safety valve for quarterbacks. One, because you know he's going to catch the ball. He's got great hands. 2, he's always looking at the quarterback. Nothing's worse when you're a quarterback when you see the back of their jersey, right?
Sure.
Brady used to say that all the time. Why do you throw to Edelman? Why do you throw to Wes Welker so much? He goes, because they're always looking at me, right? But it was an easy lead pipe lock. The ETN one was a little bit of a sweat, but that was also one of those things, right? Inside information. We knew that Jacksonville was going to target their running backs in the passing game. That's what we said. Tutton got a touchdown. ETN got a touchdown. They both went over. Obviously, we went with a starting quarterback. But when it comes to these props on these lead pipe locks, you got to keep in mind, Hard Rock is focused on the Mike Evans and the Egbukas and the Nico Collins of the world, right?
We're looking for a little bit more of the shake that's lower.
Exactly. We're looking for a mistake, and Hard Rock made a mistake. That mistake was 19.5. That should have been at where Kate Otten was at 29.5. I liked Otten and Shepard. And what I do is I try to find the players I love before looking at the yardage, right? So I'm going through, checking my text messages, right? And then I say, ooh, I love Kate Otten. He was my number one play. And I love Sterling Shepard. He was my number two. And then I look at Kate Otten and I'm like, oh, 29.5, little risky, right?
Well, especially because last week he did nothing.
He got zero. But
zero.
We also
it's real
love
ballsy to pick Kate Otten. Did Kate Otten eclipse his number last night?
At the time, he didn't when I looked, but let's see really quick. So this is another thing, Buff, which I love to do, is I love to look for the really bad games the week before. Like, for example, Nico Collins, Otten had 3 catches for 25 yards, so he did not get there.
So, all right, great. That's a good dodge.
He did a lot better than he did the game before, right? So what you want to look at when you're betting on these receivers is this slope, right? Yep. So, for example, Nico Collins, we didn't take him because we don't take number one receivers.
He had such a dud last year.
He had a dud last week, right? So what do you think Stroud and Nico are talking about the next week, right? Hey,
working it out.
I'm going to get you the ball, right? What happened on the first drive of that game? Nico Collins, 29-yard touchdown, right?
Okay, so
Nico Collins had 9 targets. He didn't hit the over on the yardage. I know we didn't take Nico on the over, right? But we knew he was going to get targeted because he didn't get targeted the week before. What we look for is kind of trends like that. Now, the Shepard thing, he got targets the week before. That was just an egregious error by Hard Rock, and we jumped on it, right? He should have been
exactly. With Godwin out, they need that third guy.
Yep. And listen, as we're talking about gambling, we're prop stars, right? And we specialize in prop bets. We also take some game action too, right? But one of my mentors and a guy that has won a lot of money in the gambling world, he averages a 62 to 65% win rate, and he does money back guarantees. My buddy, the Mad Russian. It's madrussian.com. Want to make sure I'm saying that right. But this guy is a legend. I've known him for 15 years now. Not only is he a close family friend, he's a customer of ours. One of the reason why I met him is how generous he is as a man and as a tipper in the hospitality industry. But it's the madrussian.com. Check out his site. He does money back guarantees. So you pay for his services and you don't win, you get your money back. He guarantees his bets. So it's kind of crazy. I don't want to say it's money back, but he guarantees the money. So if you win, if you lose, you keep on getting plays until you win, right? So it's super cool. But it's madrussian.com. The guy's a legend. But let's go on. What else you got?
All right, well, I was just going to say, you talked about the Nico Collins touchdown. There's nothing, we don't really talk about too much of our own fantasy teams, but every once in a while you get a good fantasy sweat in. Last week I was in a crazy matchup. I was only down by like 3 points. I had Mark Andrews to go.
Yeah.
And I got 1 catch for 5 yards and lost a 3-point sweat. That's it's awful because I also got knocked out of Survivor. I was playing in our league. We do lowest points gets knocked out every week. So out of 12 men by week 11, you got the last 2 standing. You play for like $500. I got knocked out right away. So I'm out of that all because I lost the sweat. Now we turn the page. Here comes week 2. And here comes Sean Overman. They just closed on a house. He comes in, sits on my section last night. He's telling me he's got action against you. You guys are playing in fantasy, in the Fantasy 12 League. And he's like, yeah, I got Nico, but I look good. And then Nico comes out to what you just said and gets like a 29-yard touchdown and immediately closes the gap. You want to take it from here?
Yeah, so I was up 18.5 points. Oof. I mean, I should have had him beat already, but the guy just didn't want to go away. It was ridiculous how unlucky I got. He got a little unlucky too, but I was the one that got unlucky that day. It's my show. We do what we want, right? And I was up 18.5 points, and he had Nico Collins. First drive, I'm throwing the football with Caton out front, and I'm like, oh, shoot, it's 7:10. It's kickoff. I come in, and they're reviewing the Nico touchdown, and I could see it that his knee hits the ground before. And I'm just like, God damn, that's a touchdown, right? So,
immediately fired to the group chat, right?
Yeah. Oh, he lit it up, right? So that's 3 points for the yardage, right? 2.9 and the touchdown. So yeah, he's over halfway there right away. And of course, I put the infamous reverse jinx on him. And I say,
It's such a
good,
troll move.
good game, Sean. You got me. You did great. Great game. And after that, Nico didn't do much, even though he got targeted a lot. And then he ends up catching a quick slant, beats his cornerback so easily, and gets tackled at the 1 yard line
It's
for like a 10-yard gain, maybe an 8-yard gain or something like that. And then CJ Stroud's like, man, I should have got you that touchdown. So then he gives it to him twice more. I want to say one was on a fade route, and Stroud just threw it out of bounds, which is the worst thing you want, right, for him. And it was just funny to watch. And I ended up winning by 4 or 5 points. But, you know, when you're going against a guy like Nico and he scores a touchdown the first drive, a 29-yard touchdown.
It's a long game. There's no way that he doesn't complete that, right? And
then the Bucks came down and scored a touchdown right away, too, to make it 7-7. Then the game thankfully settled down, right?
Yep.
It was a fun fantasy game to watch, though. Egbuka gets in the end zone again, right?
That won me my matchup. I like only won by like 4 or 5 points. That was clutch for me, man. I needed the rookie to come through. It's just crazy though, whenever you're sitting there in the group chat and you're like, Sean Overman, I don't understand what's going on. Is the app not updating? You didn't beat me? I don't understand. What is this?
Fun. Yeah, but it's always funny to watch that. It's always fun to troll. And also, I want to make sure I said it right. It's themadrussian.com. I'm at the Mad Russian. And I think he just sent me really quick, a little promo code. If you punch in on the promo side, MAD20. Give him a shot for a week. You'll see how good he is. He's completely transparent with his picks too. So it's super cool. But MAD20 as a promo code, you get a nice discount there. But that's themadrussian.com. But yeah, so it was a fun fantasy night, right? We could break down a little bit of the second game too, right?
Because we have the Chargers and the Raiders.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers defense just looks unbelievable. So you get Jim Harbaugh. He brings in his DC from Michigan, Jesse Mentor.
It's unbelievable how good they look, but go on.
And they have this obvious chemistry. You know, they got a ship in Michigan. They come to the league. They get Omari and Hampton. They got this beautiful running back. The guy looks incredible, by the way.
Yeah.
The Raiders front line, very formidable. Hampton still looked good. They did stand him up a few different times. Najee Harris looked all right. But just talking about the Raiders, you said Ginty looked good, right? And I thought the eye test, he looked good. He looked like he had bursts. He just couldn't break free, man. He had 3 catches for only 1 yard, 11 for 43 on the carries. I thought that Mentor really had that D dialed in. Bowers, every time I looked up, he was making some kind of catch, and I know he's got a knee brace on right now. Myers got held in check, didn't really have a breakout game. I think the Chargers are for real, man. Like I said, I know I previewed it, and we'll talk about it on Thursday, but they get the Chiefs the next game, or whoever they get. They just beat the Chiefs. Sorry, they beat the Chiefs, and then they come in, they beat this team. That's 2 divisional wins.
Yeah.
So they're like 2-0 and 2-0 going into their week 3 matchup. I think they look great. And that defense is, like I said, dialed in, man. I love Keenan Allen. What a great value getting another touchdown. It's unbelievable. He's just already got 3 tutties. McConkey looks good, but he's taking so much coverage. Quentin Johnston gets a bomb. Like Herbert's dialed in. He started off real slow and then just lit it up, right?
I've been a big fan of Herbert for a while now, and a couple of my buddies.
I've overdrafted him in a couple years. Obviously, we love his talent. It's like maybe this is the formula that he's finally needed, right?
I tell you what, man, the Chiefs are looking like they're the 3rd best team in that division.
It's not good.
Which is scary. Now, we all know the Chiefs can bounce back. I mean, let's be real. Let's go talk about that Chiefs-Eagles game. Now, that was a hard catch by Travis Kelce, and Mahomes had to zip it in there because of the coverage. But literally, it hits Kelce's hands. If he catches it, it's a touchdown. They take the lead, right?
Yes.
Instead, it's an interception at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, but you saw what happened. Buddy came in and he slightly tips it. So the ball gets touched. Where Kelce has it going, he's now off his twitch. He goes to move, right? He's like here. He goes to here. And you see it palm. And then you see the ball just carry him. That's unbelievable. What
it
bad
was
luck
a real hard catch.
At that very time, right? Because I'm already I'm feeling your bet. I'm like, all right, I love this bet. We got Shepard who's coming in tonight. I'm looking at a couple of lines. I'm looking at this game. I'm like, I really do like the Chiefs going live right now. I was talking to Jarvis at the time. I was like, TJ's cooking something up. Let's look at something right now. I look up, I see the Chiefs going down the field. I'm like, let's take the Chiefs live. And so like we take the Chiefs live on a bet. They go all the way down. It looks so good. They were plus money at the time. And then the interception happens. Bet over, game over. But that's exactly how it went, man. That changed everything. The Chiefs are 0-3, or they could be 0-3. They're 0-2. Nobody had the Chiefs 0-2. Nobody had Mahomes going 0-2.
And they've lost 3 games in a row now, counting the Super Bowl. Now, you
Count
know
the
what's
Super
funny
Bowl.
is that this is the game I kind of expected in the Super Bowl, right?
I didn't have any pick'ems this week, but I was definitely feeling the Eagles more than the Chiefs this game. Were you?
Well, the Chiefs are trending downwards, but this is the game I was kind of expecting in the Super Bowl, not the 30, 40-point blowout that we saw, right?
Sure.
I was expecting a tight game. I mean, let's be real. The Chiefs lost by 3, and they threw an interception on the 1-yard line. The Eagles' offense has not looked good.
A.J.
Right?
Brown was supposed to be heavily targeted this game. He had like 5 targets. Didn't do much, right?
Yep. Jalen Hurts is running a lot, but they're not passing a lot. And I think
How do you think Saquon looks?
Yeah, he looks okay. I think he had a good game, not an amazing game, but
I mean, that's just 2 weeks in a row. Obviously, Saquon is a league winner, but he does get held in check. I mean, the Chiefs defense is pretty legit.
He had 22 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown, right? And that's good. I mean, but the Chiefs look good, but not great. I'm sorry, the Eagles look good, but not great. And
well, they were on the road though. You expect them to come in and not be as dazzling as well.
All right, we got Tyson lighting up the chat board right now. Yeah, Gino was seeing ghosts last night. I didn't realize, Tyson, how special the Chargers defense was. And like, if you watch them play, they talked about it a little bit on the broadcast, like it's so disciplined and nobody's missing assignments. And they say that they almost always are playing zone and facing, like, it's a heavily zone defense, and you cover your zone and everything else will fall into place. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. I did want to talk about this. Did you see at the end when Chris Jones was talking shit to Jalen Hurts, pretty much saying you didn't even throw for 100 yards, or you barely threw for 100 yards. This was kind of cool. And Jalen Hurts is like, look at the scoreboard or something like that. And I thought that was kind of crazy for a guy like Chris Jones, a Super Bowl winner, that you're talking shit. You're getting tush push, which is the thing that beats you, if anyone gets out the tush push, Chris Jones can, but it's very hard to stop.
And you just lost. You could tell he's just salty from the Super Bowl loss. You know what I mean? Like,
and dude, it's salty because that tush push pisses people off. And you know what's funny is we saw JJ McCarthy do a tush push and he lost a yard on it. That tush push is most valuable when your quarterback benches or squats 600 pounds.
600 pounds. Unbelievable.
It's like you just can't get underneath Jalen Hurts, right? So the only way you could stop him is if it's a lot. But yeah, I thought that was crazy, right? Chris Jones, you're a Hall of Fame defensive tackle that have won multiple Super Bowls.
Still one of the best in the game.
You just got beat at home. Now, you got beat because that interception mainly, but you just got beat at home. And I'm kind of annoyed as a Giant fan because now we're going to play a pissed off Chris Jones and the Chiefs. And I have a feeling it's going to be bad, but I'm hoping that we can hang in there. But the Chiefs are going to come in so pissed off. I would recommend starting every Chiefs player in fantasy next week.
Yeah, just light them up, right?
Andy Reid,
well, you know that your secondary is kind of, I mean, Pacheco has not looked good.
He has not looked good.
Kareem Hunt looks slow, but obviously passing down back. You know that the Chiefs are going to throw it on the Giants because that's exactly like where the Cowboys found their success. And to your credit, even though Washington was able to run the ball on you and Javonte had the 30-yard breakout, you guys held our run game in check for the most part. And I can see you guys doing the same to the Chiefs, and it's going to rely on a lot on Patrick Mahomes' arm.
Yeah. Yep. I think the Chiefs are going to start getting angry, and maybe this is the wake-up call they needed, but that division's looking tougher and tougher.
But yeah, as Tyson was saying, you had Gino in that Raiders-Chargers game, seeing ghosts. Chargers look good. You know what I saw in that Chargers game? Every time I looked up, the defensive players were just congregating and talking and talking. And like they were just communicating. They were just on their own game level. And I think that makes a big difference, especially whenever, you're playing a divisional rival. You're on the road. They were in Vegas, right? Like they went in there and like whooped that ass in Vegas.
It was also kind of cool too, because Tom Brady's obviously an owner now, right?
An owner.
He had a headset on.
Yeah, that's legit.
I've never seen an owner with the headset on. Like
he wanted to be in the game. He's like, I want to know the calls. And you wonder, is Tom all right? Obviously, the answer has to be yes. But do you think he's giving some of his insight while this is going live and what he's seeing?
100% no.
Has to be no.
No, definitely not during the game.
Not during the game. Only listening so he could sit there and take notes and maybe recommend.
Yeah, and I think that he'll yield to Pete Carroll right now. But I do think he's taking notes I think he's taking notes, and maybe not game to game, but at the end of the year, he will. And maybe him and Geno Smith grab lunch together, right? If you're Geno Smith, I would be like, yes, Brady, can we grab lunch once a week, right?
Right.
But I think that it would be nice I think a lot of people said Geno Smith threw for 360 yards the first game because of Tom Brady, right? I also got a trade question for you, and I'm just going to blast it out there, even though it's me and Jeremy Kroll that are cooking one up.
Okay.
He says he'll give me Tyler Warren for Pacheco.
He's been trying to get rid of him, which is great, by the way. I would give either one of my tight ends for Tyler Warren.
So I have Evan Ingram. Ingram has been disappointing so far.
I would trade him. What is this Project X, this Joker in this offense? The Broncos look not explosive.
No, but okay. So I need a tight end. He wants Pacheco. A Pacheco for Tyler Warren straight up. Would you do that if you were me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would not only do it right now, and I know that we're already in week 2. You can't really look at draft position anymore. Now you have to look at what you're seeing on film and the way that the Chiefs are running the ball versus the way that Warren is involved in that Indiana offense. I would definitely take Tyler Warren. And I'll tell you right now, Tyler Warren will outscore Pacheco for fantasy points throughout the year.
But this is the thing is I have Okongwu, how do you say his name? The Titans.
Chig Okongwu.
And he's had 2 really hard matchups to start, right? He's getting like 6 to 6.
He's the number 2. He's the number 2 target behind Ridley. And I mean, you're telling yourself what you're saying. Like you're gonna be with a boom or bust with a rookie quarterback in a I don't know, average offense. Titans don't look explosive. They're not ascending. Okay. They're an average offense.
No, yeah. Warren could be that guy. Warren also has a
Warren is just way more of the guy. You're not, I mean, every situation that you're saying right now, I say you definitely pull the trigger.
It also matters too who I have as my RB2s, right? Because I have Tyrone Tracy, who has not been good. Judkins, which we have.
That's your savior. Judkins is coming back, baby.
He's looking great, right? He played. Yeah. They said he was going to play 15 snaps. I think
he took 10 carries for 60 yards in his first NFL action.
And I think he's
against the Ravens defense.
25 snaps. He played 20 to 25 snaps. They said he was going to play 10 to 15. He played 20 to 25, like you said. He had 10 carries for 60 yards. I think he might have had a catch too. I think
he did have a catch. And that still looks like, I wish Dylan Sampson looks better, but you could tell Jerome Ford just knows the offense and he's a better pass blocker right now than Dylan Sampson. But Dylan Sampson looks like he's definitely like just got that twitch in the open field more than Jerome Ford. That's for sure. But think about this, right? So you're trading Pacheco for Warren. And in that game next week, right, you have the Indianapolis Colts, who Warren didn't have the greatest game. They go and they play the Titans next week.
Yep.
Divisional game. They're in Tennessee. I love Warren in that game. And like, I think it's a better scenario for you to have that depth with Chig as your backup. Chig is a backup.
I just feel like Judkins had 3 catches for 10 yards too. So he'd be my number 2.
Judkins 3 catches.
But Pacheco is gonna blow up soon, right?
I don't know. I can't say that confidently. You could say that because you invested into him in many leagues. I invested him into one league because I was desperate for running backs. But in that same league, I also got Judkins. So same situation as you are. And as soon as it's like as of right now, status, Judkins is more startable than Pacheco as of next week, period.
Yeah. How about this? The Browns, are you taking Tyler Warren or Travis Kelce? if I could pick.
I will say right now it looks like Travis Kelce, but as soon as Rashee Rice comes back, dude, like, no, I'm taking Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren looks like a fully integrated piece of that offense. Michael Pittman 1, Tyler Warren 2.
Also, Evan Ingram has had a nagging calf injury, which they say is getting better. He played 43% of the snaps last week. This week, could it go up to 60 or 70%? And maybe Evan Ingram, I don't want to make this trade, and Evan Ingram has an 8-catch game for 80 yards and a touchdown, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, and you're not.
Whatever. These are the fun trade questions.
No, it's not the
If
worst
you guys
talk.
have any good trade questions?
But it's the Chiefs at the Giants next week, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just said, you have this elite front seven. Are you going to sit there and trust Pacheco again in another situation where it's not meant for success? So now you're 3 weeks in.
I mean,
and he's done nothing. How many chances can you give a guy?
The Giants have had one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL.
Tyson right, and if Pacheco doesn't run against the Giants, then maybe we have something to really be worried about, right?
Let's see the Giants run defense. Because, like, I need a win. I'm 1-1, but my team is not putting up points. I'm fucking annoyed about it. Like, I'm literally I haven't broke 100 yet. It's week, and we're 2 weeks in.
Yeah, and what is your magical phrase that you always say? I'm not going to beat you down to death. I'm going to put up 120.
Yeah, I go.
If you got to put up more than 120, but you can't put up less.
Like, the Cowboys ran all over the Giants, 135 yards.
I think we actually have a good running game, though. We ran on the Eagles, too.
Yeah, the Commanders put up 230 yards. I think Pacheco has a good game. Yeah, I mean,
maybe you want to hold off on one more week. You tell Jeremy.
Running back too. It's going to be a fair trade, however it goes.
I see way more potential when it comes to Tyler Warren. I could just see that dude being, 100 catch guy, and you have a chance to get him right now. Look at how many catches he already has and do the math. You know what I mean? Like, the dude's going to be over 100 catches. He's probably going to be like 110 catches. He'll be like 800, close to 1,000 yards with like 6 to 7 tutties.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can. I mean, he goes into like top 5 tight end. You have a chance to get him right now. Like, you're gambling with Evan Ingram because RJ Harvey, Cortland Sutton. Like, is Evan Ingram going to be like Tyler Warren is a focal point? Yeah. I don't know. That's the way I see it. Maybe you need another week. That's my advice.
Yeah, I could see Pacheco going big this week, but who knows?
Well, I'm going to be watching that with intent eyes, because if Pacheco doesn't do anything this week, then you kind of like are worried extremely, right?
Let's talk about the Lions-Bears game.
All right. So do you think that Dan Campbell laid Ben Johnson over his knee and slapped his little ass? Is that what happened?
I think that Dan Campbell did it, but not to fuel his ego, but to instill confidence in both of his coordinators, right? His coordinators got really beat up after week 1.
They did.
And they said this team is nothing without Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. And I think that Dan Campbell was doing it not to fuel his own ego, but to say, hey, and also, I mean, geez, we really saw it, but the Lions, when they're clicking, I think that it was more the Packers. The Lions week 1 just ran to a buzzsaw in the Packers, and not as much as the Lions were that bad. You know what I mean?
Amon-Ra 3 touchdowns. Jameson Williams got off. Laporta was having a game. Goff just went berserk. You had Montgomery get in. I started in one league, Montgomery and Gibbs, and they went bonkers.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about this.
But they did good. I was hoping Jahmyr Gibbs would have had a better game, considering they scored 52 points.
Right. It was just an Amon-Ra game. I get it. But would you have looked at that matchup in any sane mind? Or, I mean, I don't know. I know you don't do any drugs. Do you think that you'd have to be high to start the Bears defense against the Lions in Detroit? Like, I think you'd have to be pretty fucking high to like want to do this matchup. Now, sharper minds have said otherwise. We do have other friends that are very close to us that do podcasts that are very sports aligned, that were very inside info
and I know
about Tyson, the Bears defense at the Lions.
I know Tyson, as a Bears fan, was not very high on the Bears, right? But Jeff, for some reason, I don't know if he was trying to be a good friend or what, but we have a friend that started the Bears defense versus the Lions and is now not only losing fantasy, but lost a lot of side bets. And, it's one thing for being wrong because we could all be wrong. But when you're that wrong, it's
The
really
Bears
like,
defense put up -10, right?
yeah, it
Could
was
you
bad.
imagine putting up -10 and then losing a fantasy matchup because of that?
You know what my biggest fear was when drafting Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round, too, was I know, and I literally used to say this as I was knowing I'm kind of getting Gibbs. I used to say that the Lions could score 40 or 50 points and Gibbs cannot get any of that, right? And
Right.
Gibbs did okay. He had 94 yards and a touchdown, but he only had 12 carries and he had 3 catches for 10 yards. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is a stud, but as far as fantasy goes, I don't
Oh,
know.
did you
Jahmyr
see
Gibbs is
what
kind of
Sean
sick.
just said? Sean said, guys, tune into Prop Stars. TJ's giving advice on how to draft fantasy teams that put up 90 points or less.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I broke 90, Sean, and I'm 1-1, and I'm coming for you. The $20
Sean
in the mail.
he's talking this shit while he put up 89 or 109 points to beat Jeffrey. That's hilarious. What a fun show, man. This is such a great league. You got you sorry. So anything else you want to cover here? We kind of covered all the important stuff. You had the Falcons and Vikings. JJ McCarthy looked like ass. Again, he got offensive player of the week.
Yeah.
And then he comes in, throws 2 picks, does nothing. They look awful. He's out for 2 games. The offense looks mediocre. Aaron Jones is out. Jordan Mason's taking over. Chris Shea and the
I
Vikings
wish I
have to
would
be
have
in.
drafted
That's
Jordan.
shambles, as Tyson would say. Sounds like shambles to me, right?
Jordan Mason's going to be a top 10 back over the next few weeks, dude. He's going to be amazing.
Niners and Saints. What do you think about Niners and Saints? Mac Jones looked better than what we thought, right?
Yeah, I
Without
mean,
Purdy, Saints actually had a chance to win that game.
Yeah, let's go back to the Falcons Vikings.
Falcons Vikings.
I think that first of all, Bijan Robinson just looks so special. It's crazy. Every time he touches the ball, it just
That looks like the real
different
number
each
1 pick
day.
of fantasy right now, right? He looks like he should have been number 1.
Yep. Pilkington, yep. Should have went him number 1. But also Kyle Pitts looked really good, I thought.
Kyle Pitts has been a sleeper. I know that I was on him. I know some people in the uninformed fan were on him. I was super into it because Penix came out and said, I'm putting my stamp on him. He's involved. He's going to be a player this year. I told you he's only like 26 years old.
The way the game dictated, Falcons almost had 40 carries. So, but Kyle Pitts was targeted early and often in the game. And then once they knew that the Vikings can't score with McCarthy, that they just ran the ball and played keep away, right? It's going to be interesting to see Minnesota moving forward. But man, if you're a Vikings fan, you're like,
Minnesota's the worst team in that division. I mean, them are the Bears, right?
You guys let Sam Darnold just go after they went 13-4. And yeah, Sam Darnold didn't have a great finish to the year, but you just let him go. And
do you think JJ McCarthy ever wins 13 games? I mean, my God, that just seems
knows,
like it's
right?
so far away. You never know, but it looks so far away from right now to what they just had last year.
He had one good quarter against the Bears, and all of a sudden, some people wanted to anoint him, but we knew that it was a struggle that game. And this game against a very mediocre Falcons defense, they looked real bad.
They look trash, bro. Vikings looked awful. I'm not impressed by anything that they did other than Jordan Mason, JJ, right? Hawkinson's not nearly involved as much, and I know he's just a mismatch problem. It just looks like they're struggling.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Saints-Niners game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Mac Jones would come in and do about what Brock Purdy would do. I don't even know if there's a really steep drop-off there, to be honest with you. I think that Mac Jones is going to be one of those guys that under the Shanahan tutelage is going to take the same track that Sam Darnold did. And I think that Mac Jones, after this year,
not that much of a drop off from Purdy to Jones. I like that hot take.
Yeah, I don't really think that. Yeah, I mean, Mac Jones. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter always in the NFL, but I could see him taking the same trek that Sam Darnold did, right? And being that either bridge quarterback or maybe something even better. But he went in there, he looked good, and he had a nice little run too, where he put his head down for the first down, and the Niners are 2-0, not a sexy 2-0.
Not a sexy 2-0, but they're 2-0. You know, the
Juwan
Bucks
Jennings
are
had a big
2-0 as
touchdown
well.
catch.
The Bucks are 2-0, and I think they're the only team that's like 2-0, or Bulls is 8-0 in like last 4 or 5 years. Like the Bucks have made the playoffs last 4 or 5 years. Bucks are trending in the right direction. I think that's a great 2-0 stat. Talking about the Saints, talking about a survivor dog too, bro. They go into Seattle next week, and they don't look great. And Seattle looks better than they do. I think that's another
The
pick that we could
NFC
talk
West
about.
has one loss. The NFC West has one loss. You have 2-0 Niners, 2-0 Rams, 2-0 Arizona, 1-1 Seattle. Right?
Kind of crazy.
NFC West looks pretty strong. And I mean, even though the schedule hasn't been great, but it's been pretty easy.
Hey, all you can do is talk about the games through 2 weeks because that's where we are. That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that should be a fun game. Trying to think if we missed anything here.
You got anything that you want to preview? Obviously, we're going to come back on Thursday, guys. It's going to be our first Thursday show. We're going to be breaking down the next games, talking about for sure survivor picks. TJ will have a lead pipe lock for you. We're 3-1 on that.
Yeah, we're
3-1 numbers so we can make some money, man.
We're 3-1 on lead pipe locks. You get the uninformed fan on Monday and Friday, and then Tuesday and Thursday we have our show. Tune in to Pop Sports Network. Also, Rookies of the Year going on Mondays. Pop-offs on Fridays. Got a lot of action. Put us on the
season, man. This is it.
Put us on in the background when you're, making breakfast for the wife or cleaning up the kitchen like I do. But yeah, put us on. Comment in the chat box. We love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, bro. Prop Stars is doing some things, man.
One last thing. We might be bringing on a little guest star here. His name's Dustino. I know him as Dustin, the Giants fan, in my phone. But this guy has his pulse on the New York sports. Huge Giant fan. Also loves the action. I want to say he is 6-4 on the year on his bets. But guy knows his stuff. He's going to be a little bit of a guest appearance there.
Tyson says week 2 wouldn't give up on Ingram.
Yeah, no, I see that. I don't really I hope you're right. I'm going to hang tight with Ingram, but I don't know. I think I might pull the trigger on one of these trades. Kroll's shopping him around. Kroll's got tight ends. I'm just tired of. So let me tell you, Buff, really quick too. I had Pacheco, Cortland Sutton, and Evan Ingram going against Sean, right? And I was 80% favorite to win. Everything was looking good. And then those guys combined got me 10 points.
That's unbelievable. Combined. Yeah.
Evan Ingram didn't get his first target till I think late third, early fourth quarter. Cortland Sutton, I don't know what went on. I'm hoping that's not going to be because I know he's their number one.
You're heavily invested into the Broncos offense. It's kind of crazy how much you have writing on them.
Yeah, and it could easily change, right? Like I didn't start Bo Nix this week. I picked up Tua and started Tua, and that actually worked out.
Got Goff like last year, bro. You already know.
And that worked out. Tua outscored Bo Nix.
I started Dak Prescott over Drake May. Did not look good early. Drake May comes out, 2 touchdowns first half, Dak none. And then it just like game scripts flop and Dak goes garbage ham, which is why I drafted Dak because of garbage time, right?
Exactly. Denver's schedule is very favorable moving forward, right? But they are going to play the Chargers twice. That's why I might, if I move off of Ingram, at least then I only have the Bo Nix. And it's not like I stacked them on purpose. I got Bo Nix, I think, in the 8th or 9th.
That whole division looks like a defensive juggernaut, bro. Like Chargers, the Raiders defense is tough, right? I mean,
I don't know about that. I disagree with you there. I think
you don't think the Chiefs have a good D? I mean, I think they're all like pretty solid.
I guess I'll say this. From a Bo Nix point of view, you don't have to play against Denver's defense, right? So yeah, you're right.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
But like, Denver and the Chargers have 2
formidable defenses, you know?
Denver has a good defense. Chargers have a good defense. I don't know about the Raiders and the Chiefs defense. I think those are middle of the road.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks guys for listening. We hit 700 subscribers. It's an honor for you guys to listen to us. And
start everyone against Bears Bucks. You're damn right, Tyson. It's gonna go nuts. Fantasy Fest 2025, Bears Bucks, week 3. I don't know if you want any side action on that. I'm taking the Cowboys in Chicago.
Oh, they play against each other next week, right?
Yeah, we're against each other. And then after that, guess what? Homecoming week 4, Packers come to Dallas. Welcome home, Micah. Cowboys on the upset, week 4. I said to Gene, I make a case. Cowboys are 3-1 going into week 5 after we beat the Bears and Packers.
I really
Nobody's giving us a chance against the Packers. I'm telling you that right now from 2 weeks out, especially whatever happens next week. And I love the Cowboys as an underdog. Love them as a home underdog. Let's go.
I really like the Cowboys as a team. I think that they had Parsons, they could be elite. And since they don't, they're not going to be elite, but I can still see them making a playoff run. Let me ask you this. How long, if you're the Bears, when is Caleb Williams like, okay, this is not the guy? He's obviously going to play this season, right? And let's say
you probably let him run out his contract, right? You just,
and
then
don't
sign him. Like
saying, hey, because it looks like right now he's the third best quarterback out of those big 3 that got drafted, right? 1, 2, and 3. Tyson says give him 1 more year. I agree. And I think Caleb could be the guy. He's got quick feet. It just scares me how inaccurate he is. We all know he can make an amazing throw and he can make the highlight reels and all that kind of stuff, right? But I think that I think you guys are both right. You give him this full year, you give him the next full year, and by next full year, I thought the Bears were 1 year away, and I think Tyson kind of felt that way too. Jeremy Swenson was saying, no, this is the year. And I had to use Bobby Bowden, Jeff's phrase, you lose big, you lose small, you win big. I thought they were in the lose small category, so they're about to be here. I think that they're going to turn it around a little bit because they have too many weapons. Yeah. So you're right.
To stay, he says. Love that, Ty.
I do think that and that's a very popular thing. That's been a really big thing. Jared Goff and
Ben Johnson's relationship when he was there.
Well, yeah, but the stats for 2 games
were exactly for 2 games.
Goff did not shine under Ben Johnson right away. And then Goff now, swears by Ben Johnson, said he was the one that changed his career around. Caleb Williams, he's such a good athlete, and I love his pocket presence and awareness. I just think in his mind it has to slow down a little bit, but he's such a good athlete that he can get out of jams, unlike Tua's of the world.
Isn't this kind of like the whole Joe Burrow thing we talked about? There's dudes that come across, just as an example, CeeDee Lamb cost us the game against the Eagles at 5 a.m. He's over here at the machine catching balls. First one at the practice facility. You know what I mean? Is Caleb Johnson overthrowing or underthrowing or not? No finesse. Is he practicing first one? Is he grinding? Is he like Joe Burrow? Is he putting in the time? Is he wanting to be better? Does he want to be the leader? Does he want to be the franchise savior that everybody's pinning him to be?
Yeah. I don't. Is Caleb Williams a leader of men? I'm not sure. We've talked about that. I don't know if he's one of those guys that, but I do think that he wants it. It scares me a little bit that he wasn't a winner in college as much, right? And I don't like the paint the nails thing, and I don't care if you do it. I just think that you're not, you got to lead men, and a lot of men.
Other NFL players painting their nails.
Say it again.
Have you heard of any other NFL players painting their nails?
No.
Me neither. That's just something right there. You're doing something that's against the grain.
Yeah. And exactly right. It's a distraction, Tyson. And I think that after all the fun
if he did own nail salons, that would be fucking hilarious, bro. If he opened up a hair and nail salon.
Yeah. And all that is fun and cool. But in all reality, Chicago is a sports city. And
I agree, Mike.
What's up, Mike? The Bears have invested so much in Caleb Williams, and they literally brought in a coach now to coach Caleb Williams. And his body language and everything like that has really kind of bothered me a little bit. And I just hope he could turn it around like Brady, Baker Mayfield.
You got guys, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith. There's people that are out there reviving careers, and this isn't Caleb's only story. We like to say, never judge a person. I'm not
saying it as that. I'm saying there is a swag about you that are you a leader? You don't have to be the same exact guy as a Brady or a Baker. But when I watch those guys play, I want to run through a brick wall for them, right?
Bro, I believed in Baker after he got up and told that homie to get his weight up and started getting pumped. I'm like, you know what? Like, that's exactly the same Baker we saw crushing beers, taking runs. Last night, we saw him come out. They were 3rd and long, needed a run, breaks out left, dodges a tackle, goes diving forward. Baker is the truth, man. And you're right. That's a leader. He put his body on the line, and he's somebody that the whole team's willing to stand behind.
For example, if Drake May was in Chicago, the Chicago fan base,
blue collar town, not a spy. I agree.
Chicago would be behind Drake May because of like his leadership and demeanor. There's a whole thing about it. And Caleb Williams, he went to USC, he left Oak. There's just a whole vibe about Caleb Williams that is turning off Bears fans. That's the point I'm trying to make. And can he change it? Yes. But the thing is, he's only going to change it with winning. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that's not how it is with every quarterback. It's like Drake May, if he was in Chicago right now and he wasn't winning, but he was doing the things he was doing, people would be like, okay, he's still our guy. Let's get behind him. But
I'm going to tell you right now, like
winning away from Drake May or from Caleb Williams is because of this whole demeanor. I don't know if I'm explaining it right or not.
No, you definitely are. I think that this week Caleb's going to have an immediate opportunity because the Cowboys don't have a great D. We're in Chicago. It should be a back and forth type game. And Caleb should have an opportunity at the end of the game to make a play, to win, lose, something, have an impact. It should be a close game. I don't see us for busting it open or blowing them out or anything like that. I could definitely see Chicago being able to score. I really like Swift. I like Rome Odunze and his connection that he has. I think they could definitely put some numbers up against us, and I think Caleb's going to have another opportunity to win a game against the Cowboys.
And let's be real, against the Vikings, Caleb Williams did not look good after that first drive. But then the final drive, I think it was the first drive and the last drive, he looked great, right? That last drive, when his back was completely against the wall, he drove that team down the field and scored a touchdown, right? The Lions game was not pretty, but that's fine. I almost think Caleb Williams, I know it sounds corny, needs to win a game where his nose is bleeding or something, right? And they try to tape him up and he goes, no, put me back out there. It needs to be he needs to show some grit and show these Chicago fans hey.
He needs to break a nail and say, I can still throw. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But hey, guys, thanks for listening. It was fun.
That was a great show, man. We got another show just coming up in a 48-hour mix. We're going to be doing a fantasy breakdown, picks for the week. We're going to have Survivor. We're going to have Lead Pipe Locks. Wonderful previews. It's going to be an awesome week. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe. Put us on, y'all.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Prop Stars out.
Thank you.
Peace.